Welcome back to another Vintage Story month of gameplay. Thanks for joining me. So, to start out month 4, otherwise known as August within Vintage Story, we're currently just doing a little bit of clay making. Right now, trying to make a mold in order to make a falx blade, so that way I can better defend myself as I start to go deeper within the caves. This month was a pretty action-packed month, nothing absolutely bonkers, but a lot of noteworthy content, so hopefully you guys will enjoy. Additionally, this is the month where we finally get caught up on the updates as I'm back to playing again on this world since I had to take a bit of a break for work while I got busy. But hopefully you guys enjoy, and thanks again for watching. After doing some clay making, I then went ahead and just started doing some basic gathering and chores around the base, picking some berries, and then going out and doing some gardening. Picking berries is nice, but it feels so much more repetitive than being able to do the farming on various crops. They all make different sounds, I feel like. Maybe it's just me going insane, though. Friendly tip for anybody who doesn't play Vintage or is just getting into it, the soil actually depletes certain resources, and the different vegetables require different resources, so definitely be sure you're checking the soil levels for the various percentages to make sure that you're planting the appropriate crops where you can. Once daytime was in a bit more full swing for day 1, I started to go into the caves again. Immediately was faced with some trouble, though. Nothing the old flint spear can't handle with a bit of trial and tribulation. As I gaze into the caverns, further trouble awaits, and it just keeps on coming up. It seems like I just can't escape it. I also realized my spear's broken, and I don't think the flint knife is really going to work for this. As I missed my first hit, I swiftly realized I should get out of here and make another spearhead. After making another spearhead and quickly disposing of the intrepid creatures, I went ahead and went back into the mine and started to get some quartz. I don't have the ability to refine the regular quartz, but my main goal here is to get some clear quartz so I can make some lanterns and hopefully light up some areas at least around the main building of the base. The caves are proving ever dangerous, but one of the best things is I found a translocator really close to my base and not that far down. It's actually really close to one of the entrances as well, so it works out fairly perfectly. Looking forward to seeing where this one takes me. Went into the caves after not finding too much other than the translocator, and ultimately decided to go gather some food. Got some berries, and then I saw a bear. Checked and thought maybe I can draw it into the water and kill it, but once I got up to it, I realized it was actually dead already. I've never seen this before in Vintage. It seems like another creature killed the bear, and didn't even eat it. I took my thankful bounty, and then saw another bear laying down, and thought, oh my gosh, another? And then the bear woke up, and so I very swiftly ran towards the water to try to make sure that it wouldn't end up killing me. This is a trick I started doing in Vintage because in earlier updates the bears weren't really that great with swimming and they literally could not hit you in the water, but that's kind of changed now. They're kind of able to swim. Not perfectly, but you'll see what I mean. As the black bear relentlessly chased me into the water, I tried to get low enough to where I could hit its underbelly and it wouldn't be able to hit me. But then it started to do this thing. In addition to the normal running away, it was able to kind of go like down into the water a little bit, which the NPC bears didn't used to do, although that might be something new. I got a little too aggressive with the bear and tried to chase it down, and realized that maybe it was running away just because it was bored with me, not because it couldn't kill me, and so I went back into the water and continued my attack. Unfortunately, the water wasn't deep enough though, and I started to get really close and taking unnecessary damage. I found a deeper spot of water in an attempt to avoid it, but the bear started kind of like looking like it was going to dive down. Ultimately, I was thankfully able to hit it in the belly enough times where I was able to get the meat, and especially that lucrative animal fat. I made it back to the base though, and then decided to continue doing some of the chores. Some more berries had grown in than I had planted out here early on, so I decided to gather those. After that bear encounter, I realized I think I need some healing. I did some research and it seems like horsetail is probably the best healing sort of thing I can make. I believe with horsetail and the cattail, you're able to make these horsetail bandages. You can improve these by adding, I believe, honey and sulfur or making it with linens instead, but that's just a bit above my caliber right now. Next item on the list was I needed to be able to grind things in the long run, especially to preserve these pelts. I can grind up things like salt or grind up things like limestone and hopefully be able to soak the pelts and be able to use them in the long run as leather. But in order to do this, you have to do kind of like a weird, quirky thing with stone in order to get like the base stone block. And so you can see me doing it right now. How it works is once there's a piece of stone that's been disconnected from all other spots, it essentially becomes like a free floating block and it just breaks off as a normal piece of stone. Conceptually, it's kind of like you're chiseling around the stone and the stone just falls off for you to then work with. So I think it still falls in line with the realistic aspects of the game, although it is kind of funny and quirky still, to me at least. Once I got the stone I needed for the cairn, I went back home, but there was a bear outside. I swiftly made it into the gate and then tried to draw it towards the gate so that way I could attempt to kill it. Hopefully, kind of for free. Without taking any damage or dying was my goal. The bear put up a noble fight, although it is fairly pitiful for me to hit it over the fence with a spear, but I will take any advantage I could get in this game. I'm desperately trying to survive. After a few rounds of combat, the bear seemed weak enough to where it didn't want to fight anymore, and so it started just running away. I realized I'm probably going to have to go out there and chase it down in order to make sure I can get the fat. I really need that fat for windmill parts. Really want to emphasize how strong these bears are. I mean, I cut a bit out of this fight because it took so long, but it goes through like 2 full flint spears in order to kill the thing. I mean, these things are no joke. After the bear was slain, I went ahead and did some smithing. I forged a plate so that way I can keep up the lamp production while possible, or lantern production while possible, just because the base is so dark, and it's really not very fun to be in there at night. After that, I went ahead and gathered some wood, did some prospecting, and then went spelunking into some areas where the prospecting seemed to have potentially decent ores. While in the caves, the typical problems came. A lot of enemies, not very many noob-friendly areas in the underground of this game. I did find some of the cool blue glowing plant stuff down here. I think it's like glowworms. They're pretty sweet. The underside of the cave had a lot of danger, and you can kind of see out in the background here, there's a locust nest there. And I am severely unequipped to deal with that. Just realistically, because my weapons are breaking. As you'll see, my spear actually breaks here while I'm fighting these two deep drifters, and I realize I don't have another weapon. On the realization that I didn't have another weapon, I kind of just decided to skedaddle. It felt like the wrong move, but I made myself a spear first to make sure I wouldn't get killed on the way out. Before leaving, I took one last look at that locust nest, said heck no, and I got out. I went home and started to press some berries. Something a little relaxing, but I also need to do this in order to get some wine going. That way I'll have at least something to keep me warm. Day 3 kicked off with a little bit of just base work. I then went out and gathered some peat. That way I would have something to burn other than firewood. And then I sold some of the peat to this trader. He's my favorite trader. Gears for peat, such a good deal. After being a peat salesman for a little bit, I went and gathered some wood and then went back down into the caves. The caves, though, I was better equipped with my copper falx, or bronze falx rather, not copper. You could see me hacking people, or well, not people, but hacking the creatures up. Unfortunately, though, the hard part is that a lot of these creatures are just never ending, and eventually it just starts to overwhelm me when there's so many of them and they start having throwable objects at you. I took some of the salt that I had found in the last month and I was able to preserve the pelts for a little bit longer. That way they wouldn't expire, hopefully, before I have the capabilities of doing leather working. That's going to take me a bit more time. After that, I decided to spend the night of day 3 going through and doing some more base work, a little bit of clay making, a little bit of forging, nothing too crazy, but things that I needed to get done. After doing clay making and forging, I was trying to figure out what to get through next. I forged some nails and strips so that way I could actually have some more storage, making some chests and things of that nature. I think I have a couple left over, but I'm pretty sure I used most of it just for storage space. Day 4, I decided to expand my bee area. That way when the bees start swarming, they can continue filling up the hives. My goal is to try to get a decent number of them and then build a greenhouse for the winter, and then hopefully when the next summer starts, I'll essentially be just crazily full swing with bee production. After the bee production, I went ahead and went down, got some wood, and then went into the caves, got some zinc thankfully, and found a pretty cool ruins that I wanted you guys to see. These places are always just neat to check out, and they're pretty crazy looking on the inside, to put it candidly. Once I got back to the base for the night of Day 4, I did some bony soil sorting, and then decided I was going to work on the windmill for day 5. Windmill got started with a little bit of an eventful twist. I kind of fell off once I placed the last ladder and died. That was humiliating. I decided to do some farming after that, regain my composure, and then go back up top during the full daytime, so that way I can build the platform that the windmill will sit on. After that, during day 5, a temporal storm hit, and so I was kind of locked down. I didn't really feel like going out and fighting, and so I held off on fully finishing the windmill until the evening, and you can see it spinning beautifully. After that, I took the stone that I got earlier, made a quern, and started to be able to grind stuff up. I killed a wolf. I decided I was going to go just fully against wolves. They've got animal fat, and they attack me all the time. Not very friendly with them. Anti-wolf here. Went mining, got some copper. Gonna need this just for copper in general, for nails and strips and all that jazz, but also for bronze. Saw another wolf lurking around the base, and I can't sleep at night knowing they're out there waiting for me. So I killed it. Then went back home, did some farming, and then did some more wood cutting so that way I had some more materials to work with. Day 6, kind of just did some of the charcoal pit work, nothing too crazy to end it off. Then went back inside and did some pie making. That way I would have some food that lasted a little bit longer than the berries that I've just kind of been eating on their own. For day 7, not really too much happened here, to be totally honest with you. I mean, I went out and gathered some reeds, ended up picking up some charcoal, and then going in and doing some forging during the evening, but kind of a chill day overall. Day 8, I started out with going out and doing some exploring, gathered a bunch of berries, so that way I could juice some more stuff and just kind of leverage everything. And then I kind of just went back home after getting a full inventory and decided to do some base work to pretty the place up a little bit. Covering some of the stone, and then after the stone was covered, I decided to go through some bony soil to try to get some more candles for lanterns. After I finished up with the bony soil, I did some more fruit pressing into the evening, and then decided to jump into day 9 with a bit more exploring. Went to some traders, mapped them out, and then did a little bit of light cave spelunking and found some sulfur relatively near the surface, as well as another cool translocator. Found my first strawberry plant, so that was pretty neat. Cool to see the new stuff from the updates as I get into the new unexplored areas, since the updates apply progressively to unexplored aspects of the maps. While in the caves, I found some more zinc, lots of coal as well, which is cool, but the zinc is the main star here for me right now. Found some more cool ruins. These things are very thoughtfully designed, I feel like, from the game developers, and I don't know, I always like exploring them and just kind of taking it in when you come in here and think about the people who used to live here, in terms of the game lore at least. In this ruins, I actually found some really cool stuff. Found a couple of these storage containers that I use for food. One of them was decorated really cool, had some sweet designs and some coloring on it, and so it'll definitely become a part of the base, even if it's haunted. Went back home and decided to just kind of spend the night farming and kind of just looking out amongst the horizon. One thing I just kind of enjoyed was seeing the lightning strike and light up the area and illuminate it, so thought you guys might enjoy seeing this well as the final closeout to month 4. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching these videos. It's been a pleasure to make them. I think I'm going to continue going in this format unless anybody suggests something otherwise, but so far we've got a pretty cool place built, pretty cool compound. Now that the new update is pretty much being applied to the map on the unexplored areas, I think we'll get a lot more of that content, especially since I think that we're going to have to go to much more unexplored areas in regards to the translocator teleportation locations. Just wanted to say a big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, definitely feel free to subscribe and like the video, but greatly appreciate any comments with suggestions on what I should be doing and any sort of suggestions on how to make the videos better. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.